Hi folks, welcome to Blue and Gold Talk, the video on the channel that talks about anything that comes into my head about the Buffalo Sabres, but I did make a list for this one, so I'm kind of lying about what the video is about tonight. I want to talk, guys, I got 5 points I listed out. I want to talk about these because they've been bugging me all day. It's been bugging me all day. It hurts to be a fan, and that's not right. Okay, it's not right. It's not fair to the fans that they believed so much in this team this year, and to be let down like this is, and I'm not saying the season's done yet, guys, because I know mathematically it's not. Don't get me wrong. But the truth is, what I've seen, okay, after 75 games, they don't deserve to make the playoffs, even if they win out the last 7. They don't deserve to make it. They don't. That effort last night said everything I need to know about this team. So, I'm going to talk about 5 points, guys. We'll discuss them. And I'll let you guys have your evening. Go watch TV and get your mind off of hockey after, because it's too heartbreaking. It is. Okay, number 1, and it could be in any order. As they came in my head. I go, Granado lost this team since game 80 last year. Since that loss in New Jersey, guys, I know we went out our last 2 games, but that was the last of, you know, once we lost out to Jersey and we knew the playoffs were officially done, and we weren't surprised to win out our last 2. Remember? We just weren't. I mean, the team was, they were like this last year. They were glued together last year because I think losing Anderson is a big bust in that dressing room this year, guys. I think that might have been our captain last year, was Anderson, believe it or not. I know he's a goalie, but, you know, it just seemed like once he was gone, that gel kind of just evaporated. And Pula couldn't do anything as a captain. So, you know, since last year was the last time we've went on a run. We have not went on a run this year. We kind of got a little hot, and that was it. Well, we go 5-1-1 or something. I don't even know if we did that much. I'd have to check. So I think since last year, we pretty much haven't played like a team. Since last year. I think that's fair to say. They didn't look right coming out of the gate. They haven't looked right all season. And they're probably not going to look right to close the season out. We're probably going to get 7 points in the last 7 games and finish 500. Because people say, well, you know, they're still like a young team, and they are. You're right to say that. They are. They are. No doubt. I'm one of those fans. I'm reading stuff about Dylan Cousins, people worrying about his contract. You must be 20 years old if you are. Don't worry about his contract. Don't. Dylan Cousins is going to show up. With the right coach. With this coach? No. No. The players don't understand what accountability means emotionally, because they don't have a coach in their ear. Look at Granado behind the bench. He does this all the time. He's never talking to them. He doesn't do anything. So if you have a coach that's not going to do anything, look how many times we've been caught on line changes. He's not a very good coach, guys. Sorry. No. He's been exposed this year as a very average coach. He has been. He had a good young core that was hungry early, and then they achieved, and they came into this just expecting to win more games this year. If they would have won 5 more games this year, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But there's at least 10 games this year. We had no business playing as bad as we did, at least 10. And I'm being nice about this, saying 10. You guys can call out 10 losses, right, that you are disgusted with, like last night. The 2 Anaheim games come to mind. The game in Detroit. That's recent stuff. No. No. This guy doesn't have this team prepared. He's not an intimidating coach. His voice is not heard by this team. They like him as a friend, guys. They like him as a friend. They can go talk to after the game. Hey, Don, how's it going? Like, you know, no. You want to go by the coach's room, the door should be closed, and you have to knock to go in. And I'm sure his door's open. Hey, Don's going like this, you know. So, like, He's becoming, in my eyes, a mini Ralph Kruger. That scares me, okay? So that's where I'm at with Don Granado. I'm going to try not drag this too long. Number 2, our GM has failed us this year, guys. I know we have. We pulled a hell of a trade getting Bowen Byram. We know. We've seen how good he was in the first beginning of the game. And once he got into the Granado system, he's kind of getting invisible also. Because the system doesn't work. What do they not understand about this, guys? System doesn't work. Or we'd be winning more games. Right? With all this talent? So system doesn't work. But I'm not, when I'm talking about how our GM has failed us, I'm talking he didn't really address the goaltending thing. That kind of hung over our head. And Devin Levi was, underachieving than what we expected of him this year. But hey, we understand he's young. But he's NHL caliber goalie. Guys, I'm still of the belief that we are so mismanaged that we've had our best goalie in the AHL this year. That's how I feel. I mean, if you get a guy behind the bench that can bring Devin Levi into his own and help him, okay. But come on, like sooner or later, there's got to be a voice there that clicks for everybody, okay? There has to be that voice of authority. And it's not Don Granado, that's for sure. Kevin Adams knows this, as far as I'm concerned. If we know it, he knows it. He's doing nothing about it. He's doing nothing about it. And you fans have a right to be pissed. You do, because our general manager is letting us die a slow death like a guy once upon a time named Botterill did. Botterill was one of the stupidest general managers in his team's history, as far as I'm concerned. Any general manager, probably the dumbest GM we've ever had, really. And not because of the Skinner contract. That was on Pagula, not on Bots. That was on Pagula, 100%. But what guy goes and gets a soccer coach? Answers, class, anybody? All right. Number 3. Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of Pagula, we need Pagula to make a decision. He's the owner. We need him to fire these guys. Both. I'd fire Adams if I was the owner right now. Not because he hasn't done a good job, but because he's doing nothing about the coaching scenario. He's doing nothing. That's as bad. He's doing nothing, and so's Granado doing nothing. They're both doing nothing. And that's when it's time to go. Thank you. You brought us this far. We're not the worst team in hockey no more. We're in mediocrity, but we need somebody to bring us to the promised land. You guys aren't the guys. You're just not, and that's the problem with a GM that sits on his ass and does nothing, is that fans don't forget that. They don't forget that. I never forgot that. I love the job Adams has done. Guys, I'm going to say it. I love the job he's done with the young talent and the trades and what he got back. I mean, I love the job he's done, okay? What I don't like about him, and this is just as important, is how he has no survival instincts as a general manager. He thinks being a nice guy, every GM in the league's gonna not try to rip you off in a deal? He's gonna be a nice guy in a prick league? Come on. So I think Pagula has to be the one to step in here. We need to see our owner step in. So Terry, if you're watching my video, and I know you're not, but if you are, get on it. Honestly, summon up the courage, pick up the phone and say, okay, you guys are fired. And then call some guys in that know what they're doing and can take us to the next level, because this is ridiculous what we're going through. It's too much. It's too much now. It's too much. It's too much patience they're asking for. It's too much after last night. That is not allowed to happen in our building. It's not allowed. You want to lose the game? Okay, but you're not going to play hard and rough and tough all game? That's not allowed. Not allowed. We need a new voice. Number 4, we have the talent here to be first place, I believe, guys. First. This team could be a first place team with the right coach. A team that, if this team was hard hitting, aggressive, played hard every shift, this could be a first place team. We've seen that Dylan Cousins has a mean streak. We've seen it. It's been invisible all year long. Has he got in a fight this year? I forget. Where's the Dylan Cousins that we seen in the outdoor game? When he's waiting for the guys like somebody waits for you after school. Like, where is that guy? What happened to him? So we have the talent here. And I go, sadly, it's misdirected talent. The talent's here, guys. Okay, that's the good news for Buffalo Sabres fans. We have to understand the Stanley Cup talent is here. We've seen Tage be the most dominant goal scorer in hockey for a nice chunk, like a year almost. He was like dominant, right? He's playing with no confidence, and he still can probably get 30. He's playing with no confidence, though. It's clear as day. You just look at his face, and he looks like he has a long face all the time. You know? And then you got, the team has been lacking spunk, drive, determination, physical play. God, I can go on and on. I don't want to leave it there. But there's something very wrong with all of them, okay? And finally, Tuck has got his game going, but it took him a year or two. Like, Skinner's invisible, but I think Skinner's got to be in the first line, guys. We got to reunite the first line again, okay? But this is Granado, and I would have Peterka on the second line. That way you got like 2 number 1 lines. If you got Peterka, Cousins, and Quinn, you got like 2 number 1 lines. As soon as they come into their own, that is. Okay, guys, and in closing, number 5, they got to give the fans something at this point. They've got to give us something. They got to give us some hope. And I think all of you would go, I'm willing to bet, I'm right saying this, I'm willing to bet your barometer level is here right now, but would come down to here if we fire Granado and hire Gerard Gallant this very minute. I'm willing to bet you'd all be like, oh, thank God. I'm willing to bet the majority of you would feel that way. The majority. I mean, look, there's always going to be people that think the coach doesn't have to leave and it's the players. Those are usually fans that are attached to the coach. I mean, I had that on my channel with Kruger. I had fans saying, oh, no, I think we should still keep him in some capacity. Why? Why? So, he can... One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We'll have an office called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Come on. Like, we've got to give the fans something, I believe, guys. We can't go into the summer and this thing, if you go look on the Sabres site, they should just take it down, eh? Really. They should take it down. They've got the thing about Skinner's 1,000th game, like... Remember what I said? They always avoid talking about the things they should talk about, but they avoid it? Well, that's what they're doing with that. They can market that, and marketing works. Sorry, but the majority of you are fools and are going to fall for that. And you know what? When he's getting his 1,000-game stick or whatever it is, I'll be happy for the guy. Will be. But it's been something ongoing within our media, because Harrington's clued out. Some of these guys are clued out. Like, I watch them sometimes, and the Buffalo media, these guys are clued out. I never see them saying, you guys never hit. You never, but they'll say stand up for each other. Well, what about the word hit? Is there a problem? They're not allowed to say it out there, or they're going to get fired or something? So these are just 5 things, guys, I wanted to come up with, talk about. I know I've dragged this video long enough, so I'm going to leave it there. But there's a lot going on here that isn't good and can be addressed right now, this very minute. Right now. Pagula just has to say, take them in the office, say, sorry guys, I have to let you go because, you know, we can't continue like this. I've got, you know, and make sure that he's got his project lined up. Or at least sit Kevin Adams down and say, listen, this coach isn't getting it done. You know, or it is true that Pagula just doesn't want to pay out another coach, but come on. A few $1,000,000 to this guy's nothing. It's nothing. So that's my thoughts there. All right, guys, done for the night. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. I guess I'll probably be on tomorrow at some point. I just don't know. Might be a busy day ahead. We'll see. We'll see. And you know, we got, I guess, a big game coming up. I don't know. I'm just, I'd be more excited about a coaching change than anything right now. It would excite me way more than a 7-game winning streak would at this point, guys. See you tomorrow.